ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to NJPW Puroresu Review. I am your co-host, Andre C. And right here to my right on the screen, I guess whatever direction I'm pointing in real life, is my co-host, Melball. How you doing, Melball?
I'm somewhere over here. I'm doing fantastic today, Andre. It is a fantastic week. We have taken in a lot of wrestling in this last week.
And we got a lot more to go, and because this is only our first episode for this week of 3. We are going to be dropping 3 matches covering 3 tournaments. It's going to be crazy.
We have a lot of wrestling to do. I don't think we should delay any further, sir. Let's get into it.
So before we do that, I want to give a shout out to Rogue Energy, our sponsor down in the bottom right-hand corner. Scan the QR code and use the code OLEPODS for 10% off your order. Thanks to our friends over at our local establishment. So from there, we are here to talk about the World Tag League and the Super Junior Tag League. This is a big tournament. I am very excited for these tournaments every year. I think this is the most excited I've been for a tag league in a lot of years because there's a lot of new teams in both the Heavyweight Tag League and the Super Junior Tag League. It's making me excited.
I have to agree. Some of these combinations at first when we were previewing them, I was like, Tom Nakano, I don't think so. But I don't know about you, man, but I've been very pleasantly surprised in these first couple of nights, and man, like we got a lot to talk about.
We very much do. So we're going to kick it off with night 1 with Mel's pick from the the first night of the Super Junior Tag League, and that is Kushida Kevin Knight taking on who, as I've dubbed them, the Knights of Time, taking on Alex Zayne and El Lindaman, the Sauce Bros.
Is that what they're calling themselves?
I'm calling them that. Again, that's another me. I'm calling them the Sauce Bros. So,
hey, I mean, you can't complain when you got like a person who just names all of their stuff after Taco Bell. I mean, just a person after my own heart because I love tacos myself. That being said, like, first of all, we got to shout out. Both of us have noticed the insane drop kick that Kevin Knight seems to have here. That is just utterly insane. To be able to drop kick. I think we saw him actually sitting on someone on blah, blah, blah. Get this out.
At the historic show, somebody had someone on the shows, and he drop kicked them off the person's shoulder. That's a higher drop kick than Okada, who has the highest drop kick in the company.
I'm telling you, Okada, they got to have a drop kick off. See who can drop kick the highest.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Kushida and Alex Zayne actually starting off with some very good chain wrestling at the beginning of this match, which is actually not something I feel that I'm super used to seeing with Alex Zayne. So this was actually a really nice change for me and a nice starting pace. Again, not usually what I expect out of him, but really, really impressive to see almost that Great O'Khan kind of style adaptability in his in-ring work. They like to bite a lot. They like to think that everybody seems to be covered in sauce. Maybe that's what sweat is to them. I don't know.
I'm not sure. It's just they did like a bite to bite. There was just all the biting was just crazy.
There was a lot of nom happening and not a lot of full bellies happening because of that, treating Kevin Knight's finger like a little taquito there.
Yeah.
Even Lindaman taking his mouth guard out to start biting in on it. I was a little weirded out, but obviously we're not terribly concerned about COVID under there right now.
Well, these guys are being tested, so yeah.
Hey, I mean, and if they think it's safe, I mean, we can get into later what's going on with these guys. The double team by Kushida and Knight on Lindaman was absolutely fantastic, where Kevin Knight finished up with a massive splash. And I just got to say that it's fun when Knight and Zayne are in the ring together because they look the same height, they look the same build. It's almost a little laughable when he's standing across from someone like Kushida or even standing next to El Lindaman, his own partner.
Such a difference, man.
Such a size difference. But you know what? I mean, he uses his size to his advantage, and don't let anyone tell you that because you're taller or longer, ganglier, you're going to be a little bit slower. This guy has impressed me with the amount of speed that he can have, even over someone smaller and compact like Kushida.
Very much so.
There was a very, very smart lineup that Zayne did with Knight against Kushida's submission. a drop kick from Knight to the chest of Alex Zayne, who was on Kushida's shoulders, but Lindaman deadlifting him off of Zane to break up the pin and then feeding Kushida one also. It's just the strength, the absolute power that Lindaman has. He doesn't have to do the aerials. He doesn't have to do dives. He just pure wrestles. He's a breath of fresh air to me.
Yeah, that drop kick spot though for Kevin, I literally wrote Kevin's drop kicks are insane. But it's just crazy how high he can kick. It's just insane.
Insane. Wrestling fun.
Yeah.
At the end, though, Alex Zayne pulling off of his finisher, Cinnamon Twist on Kevin Knight to pick up that pin. What a way to start the Super Junior Tag League off with a bang.
Yeah, that was it. It was a banger of an opener. This was one of 3 matches I was thinking about declaring my pick, but you had messaged me. You wanted this one. I was like, that's fine. I had 2 others, and I picked the one I thought just stood out to me the most. But man, like I was super impressed. Kushida, like I know he came back for a little bit earlier on, but this is I think Kushida's return to form, really showing what made him a superstar in New Japan all those years ago before he left, and what WWE wasted by not pushing him when he was there. So like, and Kevin Knight, I'm going to be so impressed with this kid going forward because I think he's got all the tools to be a star, a very great American star for them. And then Alex Zayne, I've been watching for a while now with in other companies and stuff. So good. And then the limited stuff I've seen of El Lindaman, like I love the way Lindaman and Alex Zayne work together because it doesn't seem like they should, but they have a history. They did team together in Glee, so it doesn't seem like they should work, but they do. And it's the same thing to be said about Kevin and Kushida. It doesn't seem like they should work together, but they do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's that kind of like almost interesting mix of styling. With that kind of wildness that Zayne usually has, the kind of confinement of Lindaman. It's almost like Kushida and Knight are the same way. You have that one person who makes up for the faults of the other and vice versa.
Yeah, very much so. Mm-hmm. So from here, we are going to move on to the second match of the evening as the team of Wild Hips, I had the wrong. Wild Hips, Clark Connors, and Ryusuke Taguchi taking on Suzuki Gun's Douki and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. See, I got it right. I said it right. Honestly, I had a really good time with the match. Like Taguchi is always a fun guy to watch, but the one thing I got to say is it's really weird the fact that this man was in a blood feud with the current Finn Balor at one point, and now he's a giant goof. So, but that's just my brain. Yeah, but in the end, Clark Connors hit the Wild Rhino Spear and the Blue Thunder Bomb, and he got the win for his team, the Wild Hips, who got 2 points out of that win.
Mm-hmm. This was a battle of the hair for me. I mean, you got Douki, who arguably has some of the most luxurious hair in NJPW, and then you have Clark Connors coming in with this like cowboy windstruck kind of thing. Girl, I don't know what to do about that one.
I did appreciate the matching entrance gear for Wild Hips. I did really appreciate they both rolled the hat. And did Taguchi have the jacket in this one? Yeah, he had the jacket too. I did like that they matched. That was a big yes. The gear once you're in the match weren't the matching, but at least you had some uniformity coming out as a team. So I really did.
100%. The only thing that I wanted to point out about this thing that is something I did not like, but is still utterly hilarious to me, and I will allow it to still happen, the Brazilian lap dance that Taguchi does, and that is where the ankles are on the shoulders, and he pulls you into his butthole to kiss his little chocolate.
That was literally in like the first 2 minutes of the match.
Yeah,
the first 2 minutes. I've never heard it called that, but it's interesting.
So I don't know the Taguchi Brazilian. I don't know if I can get behind that, but
I don't know if I can get I can't get behind the words Taguchi Brazilian, but moving on.